are you?
Good. So this event, you've participated in this for what, I think 3 straight seasons now. What do you like about this event in particular, and why do you guys keep going back?
Yeah, a lot of reasons. First and foremost, it's in Fort Worth, which is also the location of our national championship. Obviously, different venue, but it's great for the team to be able to take that trip down there and feel those feelings of being in Fort Worth. And I think another big benefit for us is the fact that the event is on Podium. And, we've got some major competitions throughout the year where SEC championships are on Podium, the national championship is on Podium. And so it's just a great experience for our athletes to feel what that's going to feel like. There are some differences in the equipment when it's on Podium in the best way. But if you're not familiar with it, it can be different. So we want to give them that opportunity. It's always a great crowd. I mean, we pull a lot of Arkansas fans, and they run a club meet right alongside it. So there's always a lot of amazing young gymnasts in the crowd watching us. So it's just a great environment, and we love it. And they always bring in some great teams as well. So another cool opportunity for us this weekend.
And you opened the season on Podium too, right? So how did that kind of help with this, and then also the postseason competitions?
I think, my mindset is as many opportunities we can get on Podium. That's great for us. It gives us a lot of good experience, and really it gives the athletes this feeling like they're on a stage. It's elevated. It feels a little bit more important. There are some differences in how like the team interacts with each other when you're on Podium. So we need to be familiar with that if we're going to operate at our highest and best come these Podium meets in the postseason.
Manny Wargor specifically, she had such a great meet last week, and she's on floor and beam now, and she's kind of shown an ability to bounce back, even times when she's had performances that weren't what she hoped for. Where has she grown this season, or I guess what have you liked about her season? Because I know she came in with a lot of experience too.
Yeah, I mean, she came in with a lot of experience. She had a minor setback in December with her ankle. So it took her a few weeks to kind of get back from that. And not only that, but just kind of get her training back up the level where we wanted to see it to put her in lineups. But she's kind of hitting her stride now. She's looking great in practice, and she's having these amazing moments in competition where she's feeling more like herself. She's feeling like the Maddie that has all of that experience under her belt. So she's been a great leader for us so far this year and this season, and she's now continued to do that through her competitiveness. And she's just really hitting her stride. So I anticipate she'll be one that we rely on a lot in the postseason.
Now that you're in the second half of the season, what are some of the biggest things that you still want to see improve as a whole for the team?
Mhm. Yeah, I mean it's at this point just little things, and we're putting together some really great meets and performances. We just have to keep chipping away, cleaning up landings. Looking at our last Friday night's meet versus Georgia, we put together 4 strong events. Vault could have been a little bit better. We had an uncharacteristic fall right in there in the lineup, so just improving landings across the board. That's where we're getting majority of our deductions, and we saw it on beam last weekend, finishing really strong on that event with a lot more stuck dismounts than we had been seeing, and that was reflected in our team score on beam. So it just seems like if you stick, then that you're going to get the score that you want. So the landings are really the biggest thing, and then just continuing consistency and confidence. And we talked to the team the other day about really making sure we're maximizing our road opportunities, because those are currently the scores we need to replace in our NQS to boost our ranking and give us the best opportunity going into the postseason.
I had one more thing, but then it flew out of my mind. So you can come back to me, Emily.
Okay, sounds good. Jacob, do you have anything?
Yeah. Hey, Coach. I just was going to ask just general takeaways. You touched on a little bit there, but from the Georgia performance and the Georgia meet overall.
Yeah, I mean, it was an interesting environment, I will say. We starting in the team intros, there was I don't know if a lot of people know this, but there was smoke coming into the arena from the concourse. Still don't really know what was happening. Supposedly there was a fire. I don't know if it was in the building, outside the building, but the show continued to go on. And I give all the credit to the athletes who just did their thing regardless. I mean, it smelled like you were in the middle of a bonfire. The air was foggy and smoky, and it was a massive distraction that they handled really well. So that was a major takeaway, was just kudos to the athletes for handling that and not really letting it affect them. That was great. I don't know. The team felt very um, confident and very competitive, very fierce during that meet versus Georgia. They fought until the very end, which I thought was great, to be able to do that, not just on floor at home, but on beam at an away meet in a tough environment. I thought that showed a lot of strength of our team, and to finally put together a really strong beam performance. I think that was a big takeaway for me.
So it wasn't a pyrotechnics, or it was an actual fire somewhere in the.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've heard different things. I mean, some people were saying the fire was outside of the arena and the smoke was coming in. Some people were saying the fire was in the arena. I don't know. I'm not really sure what happened, but I've never experienced anything like that in my years of coaching.
That's crazy. Just to piggyback a little bit off of Christina's question there, do you feel like you mentioned kind of the team's mentality being on the road, being at Georgia? Do you feel like, you guys are shaping into the spots you want to be with 3 meets left here before SECs?
Yeah, I absolutely do. I think, we've learned a lot so far this season, and the team is really figuring out what works for them. We've been shaking up lineups every meet, and they've been handling that really well, like not necessarily knowing who's going to go in at which meet. That shows a lot of maturity, and nobody has a bad attitude about it. Everybody is just like, great, if she can go and she can get a high score, awesome. That's what we really want for the team. So that's a huge sign of positive culture of our program. But yeah, they're really finding their groove. They're figuring out what works for them in competition, and getting more consistent and confident. And they just continue to find ways to get better each week. And I love that about our team. They're always motivated and wanting to come in the gym and work and get better.
And then last one for me, you mentioned kind of nailing down the small things for you guys. Is that, what your focus is this week in Fort Worth? What are you looking to accomplish this weekend in Texas?
Yeah, I mean, it's just cleaning up little things. We're getting a lot of feedback from judges of, things that we're doing well and things that we need to clean up, little details. And they're judging a little harder than they have in years past. So it's really challenging us in the best way, to clean up and really, point each toe a little harder and straighten our knees a little bit more, and improve our rhythm and things like that. So the athletes are really buying into that process and taking that feedback and putting it into action in the gym, and not really allowing any scores in particular to frustrate them, but really just fuel them, and their work ethic.
Thank you.
Delaney, Christina, anything else?
I remembered what I was going to ask Jordan. With the landings and improving those, how do you work on that? Like, is it truly just a matter of reps? And I feel like every time I've watched the broadcasts of the road meets, they've talked about how sometimes when you're trying so hard to stick a landing, it makes it harder to do so. Just how true is that? And is that something that you're seeing?
Yeah, I mean, with how well trained our team is and how much work we put in, I mean, it is a matter of repetitions, but we do that anyway. It really is a mental challenge, right? It's like when you need to stick it, how do you stick it? And really handling that pressure, and, not trying too hard, because that's the thing, right? You can try too hard for the stick and force it a little bit too much, and then you don't have the stick. So it's a timing thing. It's obviously you got to have the repetitions under your belt regardless. But it's mental and it's timing, and it's a matter of confidence, right? Just, doing the skill the way you can do it, and then just letting the stick come to you. That's what we talk about a lot with the athletes. So we're working hard on it in the gym, and the way we're attacking it is really like creating that like contagious stick feeling, because you start to see that on our team, right? Like one person will stick. If the lead off sticks, then you'll start to see more and more sticks, because it's just contagious. And I don't really know how that works, but it does. And so we're really putting that into practice in the gym, and focusing on sticking consecutively, and not just hitting consecutively, but hitting and sticking. We did that a lot today on bars and beams. So different challenges, different mental things that we can throw at them, so that, the meet just feels like practice.
I also wanted to see how Leah Smith's doing with the Achilles issue, and then just with in the meets that she's been out, how has that changed things on floor, or changed kind of the lineup calculus?
Yeah, I mean, she's doing well. really the first couple weeks has just been about resting her Achilles and kind of giving it that healing time. And now we're kind of shifting into more of the rehab focus so that we can eventually start progressing her gymnastics again. And we're feeling really hopeful that she'll be able to come back by the end of the season. So she's doing well. I think for Leah, it's more just kind of staying mentally in the game. She wants to compete so bad. So just keeping her positive and keeping her focusing on her leadership when she can't do as much gymnastics. That's really been Leah's challenge. And she's been handling it very well. And then, having her out of the lineups, I think, our team has done a really good job of filling those positions. Manny Wargor stepping in on floor almost at the same time that Leah was out was really helpful because she can really replace that score. And then, bars, Leah was kind of in and out of the lineup, and vault has been, I think, the biggest thing, just because we have so many people that are kind of right on the cusp of being really competitive on vault. We have Grace Drexler, who's had one really great performance and an unfortunate performance last weekend. So she's right there and she's working hard. We've got Haley Klein, who's kind of been in and out with her 1.5. So there's just a lot of opportunity, and our team is really fighting to earn those opportunities. So Leah being out has been unfortunate, but it's really like lit a fire under a lot of people's spirits because they want those opportunities and they want to step in and do it for Leah.
That's everything I have.
Cool.
Do you have anything else for Coach?
Thanks, guys.
All right,
Thank you.
everybody. Thank you for being here again. Stay warm, and we will see you back at Bud next week.